Have you guys ever come across one of those words in which you have to pronounce and stress the word totally differently based on whether you're trying to say a noun or a verb? This can be a source of a lot of frustration, confusion, and just a general cause for mispronunciation for a lot of the clients that I work with. And it can be so tricky because you are seeing a set of letters and you're not actually allowed to memorize what their pronunciation is. You have to memorize multiple pronunciations and you have to remember them for a given context. For example, this is an object, but in a court of law, you would say, "Your Honor, I object." Obviously, both of those words are spelled the exact same way, but as you can hear, object, object have different pronunciations and they have different stress. So today's video is going to be about 25 different words in which we see this common yet tricky phenomenon. My name is Victoria, and if you're a subscriber here, welcome back. I am sorry I've been MIA for a little while. My life has been really busy lately, but I'm gonna try to be better and make more videos. If you guys are new here, welcome. I post all about American English. So if you're interested in pronunciation, linking, stress, all American English related topics, then please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and YouTube will let you know when I post new material. Before we get to the examples, one thing that I want you guys to just keep in the back of your minds is the fact that English is what's called a stress-timed language. And we've seen this in a lot of my other videos, but basically it's this idea or concept that in English, if you have more than one syllable, there is always gonna have to be a relatively stronger syllable in the word. So in the case of this whole video, nouns versus verbs, you're gonna see that in the case of most nouns, the strongest syllable is gonna be the first syllable. In the case of most verbs, the strongest syllable is usually gonna be the second syllable. Based on what's happening with stress, this is going to directly affect our pronunciation. So listen and watch to see, other than stress, what is happening to the sounds of these words. So here we go, guys. 25 different words that can act both as a noun or as a verb, depending on the context. So number one, we have, my iPad fell asleep. As a noun, we have the word convict, as in someone who is convicted of a crime. That person over there is a convict. So that's a noun. My winning syllable is the first. The sound is ah. The second syllable is a relaxed I sound, vict, convict. As a verb, however, if I said the prosecutor is going to convict him, then we are putting our stress on the second syllable. The sound that it makes is the same, vict. However, the first syllable no longer remained an ah, but it actually reduced to schwa. So we said con. I want to convict that bad guy. Number two, we have the word present. For my birthday, I'm gonna get a cool present. Winning syllable is on the first. It makes the sound eh. Second syllable, zn. So z, schwa, nt, zn. As a verb, as in, I want to present this person to you. We are putting a schwa on the first syllable. Our strongest syllable is the second, and it makes the sound eh. Present versus present. Next one we have incline. Incline. So because I'm stressing the first syllable, you know this is the noun form. The two vowel sounds are I and I. Incline. As in, I walked up a steep incline. As a verb, the sounds are actually going to remain the exact same, but we are going to flip our stress pattern. So we're going to say incline, incline. This isn't a verb that I use very often. It would be a bit formal sounding, I guess. But you could say something like, his bad attitude did not incline me to do him the favor that he was asking me to do. Number 4 is permit. Permit. So because I'm stressing the first syllable, you know I'm referring to the noun form, and the vowel sounds are and I. Permit. I need to get a permit to build a deck out back. As a verb, the stress is going to flip, but the sounds actually remain the same. So there's no schwa in this word. So if I was going to say permit, I permit you to come into my home, that is acting as a verb. For our next one, we have suspect. Suspect. So which syllable am I stressing in this word? The second one, right? And that tells you that it is a verb, not a noun. So I suspect that it's going to rain later. I suspect. So first syllable was schwa, second syllable was e. As a noun, our stress is going to flip, and we are going to say suspect. That individual over there is a suspect in their investigation. So in this case, we don't have a schwa, we have a, the lax form of that sound, and e, suspect. Next one we have contract. Contract. So this is acting as a noun because our first syllable was a stressed syllable. The sound of the first syllable was ah, and the second vowel sound is a. I signed a contract. As a verb, the second syllable will receive stress and we'll say contract. So you'll notice that the ah sound is no longer present when this word is appearing as a verb. Instead, we're saying schwa, and then tract, as in to expand and contract something. Our next one we have refill. Refill. So this is acting as a verb because the second syllable is receiving stress. For example, would you like me to refill your coffee? As a noun, I would say refill. Refill. In this case, I could say, I'd like a refill on my coffee, please. So notice that the sounds as in the noun form were e and then I, refill, and then in the verb form were refill. So there was no schwa in this pair, just the stress was flipped. So next up we have increase. Increase. So as a noun, the winner is the first, of course, and the sound that it makes is in. The second syllable makes the sound e. Increase. As a verb, we would say increase. Increase. I need to increase the number of hours that I work. So you'll see that the sounds are exactly the same. It is just the stress that flipped. Really same idea for the opposite of this word. So decrease and decrease. Our next word is, sorry, my iPad fell asleep again. Next one we have import. Import. So first vowel I, second vowel or, strongest syllable is the second, import. As a noun, that would have been the opposite, import. She works in the import sector. I think the next one is also the opposite here. To export something would be the verb versus to work in export would be the noun. Next one we have discount. Discount. As in, I got a great discount on my new outfit. So the winning syllable, of course, is the first. As a noun, it makes the sound I. The second syllable would be ow, discount. As a verb, we could say discount. Discount. This could mean several different things. It can also mean just getting a better deal on whatever it is you're buying. So for example, if you pay your credit card on time, they're going to discount your bill by 0.1%. Probably not very much. The next one we have conflict. Conflict. In this case, I'm saying a verb because my strongest syllable is the second. My first syllable is what? Conflict. It is a schwa. And my strongest syllable is I. Conflict. As in, our opinions on this topic conflict. As a noun, we have conflict. Conflict. So the first sound is ah, that is our winner. The second sound is I. Conflict. As in, there's a little bit of a conflict in their relationship. Our next word we have insult. Insult. So the strongest syllable is the second, telling us that this is a verb. The first syllable was in. Insult. As in, please don't insult anyone. As a noun, we would do the opposite and say insult. Insult. Please do not fire any insults in my direction. The next one is rebel. Rebel. So as a noun, the strongest syllable is the first, of course. It makes the sound eh. The second vowel sound is bull, so a schwa. Rebel. As a verb, we would say rebel. So in this case, the schwa actually exists in both, but also flip-flops position. So this teenager wants to rebel. That individual is a rebel without a cause. Next one we have update. Update. This as a noun, the strongest syllable is a, and the second syllable is a. Update. I'll give you an update as soon as I hear from her. As a verb, it'd be update. Update. So same exact sounds, but flipped. So I'm gonna update her on the progress. Next up we have invite. Invite. This would be the verb. The first sound is in, the second sound is vai. Invite. As a noun, it would be the opposite. I received a really exciting invite. So the strongest syllable, of course, is the first, but all of our sounds are maintained in this word pair. Next up we have reject. Reject. The strongest syllable here is number 2, telling us that it's a verb. The first syllable was a schwa. Reject. I reject that idea. As a noun, we would say reject. Reject. So the strongest syllable, of course, is the first. The second syllable remains eh. So there's no schwas in reject. That can, of course, be an insult to someone. It's not a very nice thing to say. Or it can be, for example, I received this iPad at 80% off because there was something a bit wrong with it. It was a reject. Next up we have object. Object. As in, this is an object. As in, this is a noun. The strongest syllable would be a on the first, and the second syllable is eh. Object. In a court of law, we would say, I object. Object. So in this case, our first syllable becomes schwa, and then our second syllable remains eh. Object. For our next pair, we have subject. Subject. This is acting as a verb because our second syllable is the strongest. Our first syllable, subject. Subject. For example, you can subject a metal to heat, something like that. Or you can subject someone to a type of condition. As a noun, we would say subject, meaning topic. What is the subject of your presentation? Next up we have project. Project. My second syllable here is the strongest. It is e. My first syllable is, of course, schwa, pr. Project. Please don't project your viewpoints onto her. As a noun, we would say project. Project. I am working on a project with my group. So strongest syllable, the first makes a sound ah. Second syllable makes a sound eh. Next up we have digest. Digest. As a noun, this could mean a publication that's been around for a really long time, the Reader's Digest. So it's basically a collection of works, of stories, etc. As a verb, we would say digest. Digest. As in you need to digest your food or you need to digest some information. So think it over, kind of ponder it. Next up we have proceed or proceeds. So in this case, we are producing a verb because the strongest syllable is the second. The first syllable was a schwa, proceeds. He just proceeds in this general direction regardless of what guidance he gets. So continues on in. Proceeds would be our noun. So the strongest syllable would be the first, the sound would be O, as in the net income from a sale or a fundraiser or whatever the case may be. So all of the proceeds are going towards charity. So next up we have upset. Upset. Now this pretty specifically refers to when a favored sports team actually loses. So it was a major upset for this team. As a verb, of course, very common, upset. So please don't upset your friend, or it can even be an adjective. I feel really upset. And our last one here, guys, is rewrite. Rewrite. So right now I'm saying it as a verb because my strongest syllable is the second. So, for example, I need to rewrite this play. As a noun, we would get rewrite. Rewrite. The rewrite was really successful, and now the producers love this piece. So that's that, you guys. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.